everyone, welcome back to my channel, Unicorns and Typewriters. My name is Skylar and I'm back today with another exciting booktube video. So in today's video, I wanted to do an exciting kind of June mini haul and TBR. The books that I did get in this mini haul are all books that I do really want to read this month if I can. And then there's a couple others that I'd like to get to as well. So let's get started. So on the first day of June, I got to take a quick trip to my favorite used bookstore and I picked up a couple books that I'm really excited about because I would love to read them all in this month if I can. I don't know if I'll get to all of them, but I've already started one and I definitely plan on reading one of the others. So let me show you what I got there and then I'll talk about a couple other books that I'm interested in. The first book that I picked up that I was so excited to see on the shelf at my favorite used bookstore is Serpent, Thorn by Melissa Bashardoust. I hope I'm saying her name right. Sorry if I'm not, but yes. So at the bottom it says sometimes the princess is the monster, and I love the imagery on this cover. I immediately saw it. It stood out to me. The spine is gorgeous as well. I was like, oh, what is this? I hadn't even heard of this one. It looked familiar to me, so maybe I've seen it on Instagram a bit, but it came out just last year, I believe. And I don't even think it's available in paperback yet. So it's a really new book and it was on sale because it's a used book. It was like super cheap compared to buying it new right now. I looked it up like super fast on Goodreads. It had really good reviews. I thought it sounded really interesting because it's also supposed to be sort of told like a fairy tale. And I love fairy tales, especially dark fairy tales. So the idea of a book about a princess that is also a monster is really fascinating to me. The main character, Soraya, she basically is poison. So if people touch her or if she touches anyone, they die just from touching her. And so it's a really interesting concept. It's like this curse that's on her. It's her trying to lift the curse, but then there's other curses. I don't know how to go into it without being a spoiler already. I'm already like halfway through it. I started it, could not stop reading. I'm so excited. I've been bringing it to work with me. I'm really, really enjoying it. So I'm so glad I was able to grab this copy and so excited that I found it and it got brought to my attention this way because I don't know how I kind of missed this book before, but it's really awesome so far. The next book that I picked up at the used bookstore was actually sitting on a cart that said something about books that had like just come in. And so I saw it and I was like, that looks familiar. I know I've seen that on Bookstagram. So I picked up These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. This was also a used book, even though it looks like brand new. Oh my gosh, this book looks so brand new. And you can tell from this little thing here that it's a book of the month book. So they got it through I think it's a book of the month like subscription program. I've been meaning to look into that because it seems like a pretty good program, but I haven't tried it yet. So I'm really excited about this. It is supposed to be a sort of version of Romeo and Juliet that's actually based in Shanghai. So like, what? I don't know. That sounds really interesting and compelling. And so I don't know, these books that have roses and like dragons or snakes on the front apparently are all the rage right now. So this is also like a brand new book that came out like last year. I believe this is a series and I think the next book is already out. I'm not sure. You can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. I'm not 100% sure on that, but it sounds really good. And it's also like a brand new book that I also got for like basically half price of what you can get it for like new online right now or any other store in person. I'm really excited that I was able to pick this one up and I'm so excited and I'd love to read this month if I get a chance to. So yeah, I'm very excited about this one. When I saw it, I was just like immediately like, ooh, I just like grabbed it off the shelf immediately. It was like, must have. The next novel that I picked up is Catwoman Soulstealer by Sarah J. Maas. So I picked this one up because I also have the Wonder Woman book in this sort of series. They're all by different authors. So the Wonder Woman one is by Leigh Bardugo, and this one apparently is by Sarah J. Maas. I actually don't have any of Sarah J. Maas's other books. I've never gotten into her series, even though I know a lot of people that really love them. So maybe one day. I just thought it'd be cool to have this one because I have the Wonder Woman one and I thought it'd be neat to like have two of them. Apparently there's also a Batman one and a Superman one too, which I didn't even realize these were all coming out by like different authors and how they were doing that until I saw this and was like, oh, so that's what they did with that. But yeah, I just couldn't leave it. It's also like brand new. It was a great price. It's also used. It had also like just come in. It was like on a shelf that was like just arrived. And I was like, yes. So I have this now too, and I'm excited to read it. I don't think I'll necessarily get to read this one this month because I've had the Wonder Woman book for a much longer time, and I would like to read that one first. So I think I will end up reading Wonder Woman and then this one. And I'm not really like necessarily feeling that this month. I am trying to think about the fact that it is Pride Month. So I do want to read books with queer characters and LGBTQ representation this month. So I don't know. I'm just not sure if I'll get to this one, but I'm still very excited about it. And the last book that I picked up while I was at my favorite used bookstore is actually a new book. This is the only new book I picked up while I was there, which is Heartstopper Volume 1 by Oseman. I've heard great things about this series. It is a graphic novel series. It looks like it's got some pretty cute artwork, as you can tell. I feel like it's been really blowing up on Bookstagram and Booktube, so I'm really excited to get a chance to read this one. And I'm really hoping I'm gonna enjoy it as much as everyone else seems to be really enjoying this series. And I'd really like to read this one this month. This actually definitely is the other one I definitely wanna read this month because, like I said, I am trying to read books that are sort of in line with the fact that it is Pride Month, and this book is, or this series, if I get to read any more, but I definitely just wanna read the first volume at least this month, is based on two boys that fall in love. And I've heard it's just like the cutest thing ever. So I'm very excited to read this one. I also, if I get a chance, would love to read This Coven Won't Break, which is the sequel to These Witches Don't Burn. I read this book, I think like almost 2 years ago now. And so I've been really wanting to read This Coven Won't Break since it came out toward the end of last year. And I just have not gotten to read it yet. So I would love to read this. I remember really enjoying the first book. I also feel like I don't remember like everything about the first book. So I am kind of wondering if I should reread it. So that might be the only thing that stops me from reading the second book, is if I only get to reread the first book this month. But I'm gonna try to like kind of look at it, like kind of skim a little bit and see if I can just jump into the second one, because I really just want to read new books right now. I don't really want to do a reread. I don't know if this is like just a 2-book series or if there's going to be a third one, so I'll definitely have to look into that. But yeah, I'd really love to read this month. So this book I definitely have on my TBR. As I've stated in previous videos, my TBR is very kind of loose. I don't like to have a very solid TBR because it's just too much pressure. So, and then I get less reading done. Anyway, regardless, if I can, I'd love to read this one. And another book that I have that I've been meaning to read that has LGBTQ main characters is Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. I've been wanting to read this for a long time. I finally picked it up like, I don't know, at the end of last year, and I still have not gotten to read it. But if you're at all into books, you've probably already heard about it since it's been so big. Especially last year, it was so big. And so, I don't know, I don't always read a lot of like kind of romances, but I've heard that this one is really like witty and cute and fun. And so yes, I am excited to read it. So yeah, if I get a chance, I would also be thinking of this book as being a part of my TBR for the month of June. I know this video is pretty short and sweet, but I just wanted to pop in and tell you guys about some of the great books that I got so far this month, and also the books that I plan on reading at some point this month if I can. So like I said, my TBRs are always kind of loosely planned, but it is fun to kind of have some goals. But definitely I do better when I don't put like pressure on myself to read a set number of books every month. So these are all books that I want to read in the future, whether I read them this month or next month. I'm still really excited about them right now. So I hope you all enjoyed watching. Please like this video, comment below and let me know if you have read any of these books, if you've enjoyed them, what you think of them, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content like this. I will be back with another booktube video soon. Have a good rest of your week. Bye.